before we began, I felt that you actually are here, or your soul is here with a very strong mission to share something that's very, very close to your heart, in a sense whereby if there is injustice around this thing, you actually get really angry and fired up. And it feels like in this lifetime, you are here in your vocation, or even before your vocation. The images I get is like, even as a student, like in secondary school, there, like, whether it's you experienced it personally or you witnessed it in a classmate or a friend or sibling, um something around this thing that makes you want to like fight for its justice or spread awareness or to bring voice to it. And it could be like to bring voice to those who don't have a voice to speak up for themselves. So there is a warrior within you that is prepared to fight for what's fair, even if actually it doesn't affect you directly. But I feel like there is an empathy and a sensitivity whereby you feel the pain of the people involved, and those people are who you are speaking up for. And this is underlying within you for years, for decades, and it may not come through so much at the forefront, but it's always here within you. And I feel like every decision you make, maybe it's like career moves or like where you dedicate your energy to, this is always going to be a consideration. Like, how much can you share and speak and advocate and make space for this? So this, like, in a very like zoomed out perspective, feels like kind of your soul's mission. And when we started taking breaths together, at the second breath, I saw a very tender flower, and it feels like something very precious within you. And it's precious in a way that it's like delicate. I don't want to say fragile, but more of delicate. There is a very sensitive quality to it that also exists within you. And I feel like it's around the heart space. And maybe that's why I said, like, let's put our hands to our hearts, because I've never initiated that before, not in this session. But and it feels kind of like there is a very strong guarding of that delicateness within you. So maybe it's like how you portray yourself, or how you feel you portray yourself, is very different from the quality of that flower. And it feels that you cannot just walk around in the world exhibiting this flower out loud, because it feels that it would risk being destroyed or disrespected or uh threatened. So there is a very strong, again, like protector quality within that's protecting this very special thing within you. And it could be something as general as like being sensitive and being gifted intuitively, and for that reason you maybe feel more, or you suffer a bit more, in terms of heartbreak, or in terms of bullying, or anything that causes pain. And then this flower might, like, people might laugh at it, like, oh, why are you so sensitive, or something like that, or why you think so much. And as a result, maybe the way you portray yourself is, it begins to be more and more filtered and edited, so that you don't have to hear these comments or these feedback. But the thing is that this flower is still very, very much alive, vibrant within you, and this is actually your superpower. And I feel like it. At first, I was wondering, is this the same thing as what I sensed before we started our session? But then, now it feels clear, like it's two different things, and your superpower, or this flower, is actually here to support your mission. And it's through using this gift that you innately have, that maybe is required for you to like kind of like tune it out or shut it down, in order to move on with life at the pace and the speed that you need to be moving. But if you're able to connect more with this part of yourself, and to surround yourself more with people who can appreciate, really, really see and appreciate this aspect of yourself, this is going to support you in like really charging forward with what feels like your actual soul mission, why your spirit decided to be human in this lifetime. And whenever there is a shutting, a dulling down, a tuning out of this aspect of yourself, there is also a sadness. And if this sadness continues for some time, it risks depression, addiction, because it's like its gift, its quality doesn't get to be shining in the world. Instead, it's like stuffed out, it's like suffocated. So it needs a way to cope. And as a result, what the messaging that comes to you from it, it's like through being sad, or even like days maybe of feeling like overwhelmed by emotions, especially with um um the sadness and depression. And the gift, I would say, of depression that is that it's so important for the soul, because it allows for us to just not be able to just move on and carry forward at the breakneck speed of our life, but instead we are slumped in bed, we can't think about work, we can't think about anything else, we are just so consumed by it. But it's this very consumption that allows us to finally like kind of like navigate our way blindly, groping around in the darkness until we find our light. And it feels like this flower, and like sometimes in some moments this flower appears like a diamond, like a diamond, a flower shaped diamond or something. It's just so brilliant. It's really multifaceted. So whenever you twist it around the sun, every single part sparkle and has its own sparkle. So it's kind of, it tells me that this quality within you is super nuanced. So it's like, for example, if it's sensitivity or intuition, it's very, very, very nuanced. Like you, I want to say like you can do what I'm doing now, and you'll be so, so good at it because of this gift of yours that maybe in the past have brought you like a lot of struggle, but it feels like it's coming out now through this image, because it wants you to recognize how powerful it can be, how powerful your superpower is. And um earlier, like the image that I got was like this flower is like kind of in a cave, and it's through when you slow down. And sometimes it's like the inner world makes you slow down, because and I'm just using depression as an example. Maybe it's not that, but for example, if it is depression, it makes you slow down and makes you retreat into yourself. And I think that's why it's like the image of the cave, because it's in the very, very like deep recess of the cave is where you'll find this part of you. And it's really a very precious part of you. Like there's this song on Spotify that is like coming up now, and it says precious things lay hidden. It's like an ethereal song. Um, but like it's coming up, and it feels like this part of yourself has been hidden for a while. And when you were a child, this part was very like kind of like moving you, it was guiding you in the way you think, in a way you perceive the world, in a way you ask questions. But it's possible that like over time, because of maybe other people's impatience, or they don't know how to answer you, maybe you feel like you do have to like dial down a bit. And somehow this very, very precious aspect of yourself got kind of hidden. And right now, even if like, if for example this is like inquisitivity, right, and you are still inquisitive, but when this part of you is really integrated, it feels that like your instincts, like your spider senses, will really infinitely amplify. And it would be like you are truly a human lie detector. You can really sense things, even if it's something as simple as like, um, I don't think this is a great example, but it's like if you ask someone like, how are you? And then they say, no, I'm good, I'm fine. You'll be able to sense that they're not. That's super general, but when I say it, I mean like you're able to really, really sense into the nuances, like the inflections of their tone, their voice, their facial expression. Just your spider senses will be really, really on point. So I think those are the two things that came up most strongly. And then something else that is coming up also is I'm just seeing purple powder around your field, your auric field, which informs me that the way you do things is very different from the way your peers do things. There is an I think it's a mix of like eccentricity and eclecticism in how you go about with your method, with your methodology. It might not make sense to other people. It might not make sense to your boss, to your coworkers, but it makes sense to you. And it can feel slightly frustrating for you to have to explain it, because when you hear how you explain it, it doesn't even like make logical or rational sense, but deep down inside it clicks for you, and that's the way you need to flow. And what I'm receiving is that it's so important for you to honor this aspect of yourself, to honor how you flow, because this is your groove. It feels like it's your unique rhythm, it's your unique beat, and it's so important to honor it, and also to celebrate like that how you do things, because it's different. Your uniqueness and your essence, your signature, the signature vibration of you, it gets to shine through um the expression of your work, whatever it is that you are putting out, putting forth. um there is going to be a vibration of you. And it's almost like when people see a piece of work, they'll know it's yours, they'll know it's just it's your signature, you know. And it's when you really, really honor your flow, even though maybe you might think it's weird or it doesn't make sense. But that's a very striking thing for me, whereby um, the workflow of you, or the how you do it, is just, if not more important than what you actually do, you know? So there's that. And then another thing that's coming through is like the color of like egg yolk yellow, or like sunflower yellow, very, very vibrant sunflower yellow, which makes me feel joy. And it's like the smell of very fresh air. And maybe there is a part of you that seeks rejuvenation and being refreshed. Maybe there's this part that is like burning out, and it really, really needs a reset, a break. And the purpose of that is to connect back to joy, to connect back to the inner child that you never maybe really, really, really got to embody or take out on play dates, or like just frolic around the world with, like just you and your inner child. And it feels like this season, when I say this season, I mean like this coming year also, it's a beautiful window or womb space for you to really get to know yourself in a way um that you've never met at such an intimate and non-intellectual level before. So it's very, very emotional, really like mothering yourself, or parenting yourself for the first time, in a way that it's very doting and very affectionate and very loving, and also very protective, whereby you don't put that inner child in positions whereby, you know, they might be hurt. Or, and when I say that, I don't mean like not take risks, but basically you are very, very um on the ball with taking care of this inner child. You know, it's like, for example, if a mother brings the daughter to the playground, and the mother sense like there is dispute going on, or someone's bullying the daughter, the mother is there, right there, you know, to, it's like mother bear energy or father bear energy. um it's going to be honed more and more and more within you. And it feels that the emotional part, this affectionate, uh touchy feely part, is going to finally match your intellectual cognitive knowing of your understanding of yourself. You know, this there's finally going to be a bridge that you can walk back and forth between like the intellect and also the sensing, feeling, just knowing without knowing why. So there's that.